Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Story Time with the Odessa Library. My name is Laura, and today our books are going to be on the theme of books, which is really exciting. We're going to think about how to read a book, which is the title of this book by Kwame Alexander. And we're also going to think about where to find books with this one called The Library Book. And this is based on the song by Tom Chapin and Michael Mark. So if you'd like to give that song a listen, it's available on YouTube and it's really great. Really fun, has a great melody and a great beat. But we're going to be reading the book about that song. And the last thing we'll do is actually make a book. I'm a bookmaker, a bookbinder, and I love making books. So we are going to make a pretty simple but awesome book with one sheet of paper. And this little book will have pages like this, and a front and back cover. And all that you need for that is a piece of paper and some scissors. So that is our plan for today. Let's start in with our first book. And I should note that we're joining each other today in the studio that I share in Hector. And I share the studio with a paper maker. We have bookbinding equipment, printing equipment that's very old, in fact, and paper making. So what a great place to read and learn about books, and a place where lots of books are made. So I'm just going to turn us around to see this book really well. Nice lighting. Okay. So our first book, How to Read a Book, by Newbery medalist Kwame Alexander, with art by Melissa Sweet, Caldecott honoree. How to read a book. For Samaya and Dana. First, find a tree. A black tupelo or a dawn redwood will do, and plant yourself. It's okay if you prefer a stoop like Langston Hughes. Once you're comfy, peel its gentle skin like you would a clementine. The color of the sunrise. I love that idea of peeling, which I have to do with one hand, and peeling the pages like that. The scent of morning air and sweet butterfly kisses. Beautiful butterflies kissing this person. Next, dig your thumb at the bottom of each juicy section and pop the words out. Like here. dropping out of the book, which say, once upon a time. Piece by piece, part by part, page by rustling page. I have never read a book upside down, but this makes me want to. Pages do have a sound, don't they? Listen carefully. Especially library books with their plasticky covers. Then, when the sun is so quiet, watch a novel world unfurl right before your eyes. If you haven't heard the word unfurl, what do you think that means? A world unfurl right before your eyes. Maybe kind of like a flower blooming and coming to life. Surprise! It's a book party, stacked with all your favorite friends. A picnic of words and sounds. Got a record player. Someone playing the guitar. And ooh, a nice surprise fallout. Ooh, what's happening here? Each of these things. I love this collage work. Oh! Some really funny images. Old images, new images. Reading. Ampersand, love that. Fold that. So get real cozy between the covers and let your fingers wander. As they wander. Squeeze every morsel of each plump line until the last drop of magic. Drips from the infinite sky. And bursts of orange explode. Beneath a perfect purple moon. Love these little cutouts here. You can see in the frame different parts of this book. It's really fun to think about different ways that we can mix up how a book is put together. Don't rush through. Your eyes need time to taste. Your soul needs room to bloom. look at what is going on here. So there's a ladder and a little person reading a book. And where are they? Looks like they're resting on the moon. With all sorts of stars in the sky. Now, sleep, dream, hope. You never reach. You never reach. The end. In our dreams, we never reach the end. What a lovely thought that is. Here are illustrations of the author and the illustrator. A beautiful book about reading books, interacting with books. And our next story will be the library book. And again, this is written by Tom Chapin and Michael Mark. They wrote the song, which is the same as the words in this book. Illustrated by Chuck. So if you want to check this book out of the library where it will return today, it actually has the music, notes, and lyrics for this book, which is so cool that you could play this song with an instrument, the piano, a guitar, and sing along. The library book. Tom Chapin, Michael Mark, illustrated by Chuck. Saturday morning, and the rain is pouring. Dad worked late last night. He's in there snoring. Same old stuff on TV. Boring. So what if I can't go out and play? I know what I'll do today. I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Just how the song goes. I'm trying my best. I'm not a singer by any means, but we can all try some things we're uncomfortable with. Look at this town. Our character is on the way to the library. That's the cheese shop. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. So here in the library, like at our library, these books are organized by different subjects. So if we zoom in to this shelf, not sure if you can read that, but it says fiction with numbers labeled. And if we go over to this shelf, it says nonfiction with numbers on it. And that is one way that we put our books into different areas, different shelves of the library. I'm going to find them easy. Hopefully. Now, I like books and they like me, so when I go to the library, I sit down in my favorite chair and check to see who's there. Maybe one book, maybe two. Take me home, says Winnie the Pooh. And if we have to travel far, I'll bring my honey jar. Here's the chorus again. Oh, I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. All these wonderful books. Sleeping Beauty yawned and said, I'll come when I get out of bed. She's yawning. Madeline says, let her nap, and jumps into my lap. The cat in the hat says, hey, I'll go. Don't take him, cries Pinocchio. Don't take that cat to your address. He always makes a mess. And what has happened to Pinocchio's nose? It grew. What does that mean? Do you remember? Is it telling the truth or telling a fib? Sing along with me if you are learning this chorus. Oh, I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. What characters do we have with us now? Whoa. Now, eating a book, that is something that we don't often think about doing, but that is one way to interact with a book. Sometimes you see babies using their mouth to explore a book. I guess it was a long trip because we have a honey jar. Mrs. Parker's back behind the checkout desk today. The Cheshire Cat jumps on her head and says, let's play. But Mrs. P says, goodness, are you sure you want all these? What do we say? Oh, yes, we shout together. She says, shh, quiet, please. Because often in a book, in a library, librarians tend to say, be quiet. So let's whisper this time. I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. The 7 dwarfs begin to shout, say, take us with you, check us out. And Cinderella gets her gown, and Babar grabs his crown. Wow. So many characters in the library. Then Curious George swings from the shelf. Along comes Mother Goose herself. Out the door we danced and sang. The whole library rang. Wow. Library. Hopefully someday we can have this many people together. Joining the library. Another chorus. Oh, I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Like a parade, celebrating the library and books. Look at all these people, animals. I'm going down to the light. Now you can shh the librarian because she's so into it. Picking out a book, check it in, check it out. And here, just to take notice of this illustration, do you recognize what that is? That is a stamp with dates on it. And before we checked out books with computers, that is how libraries would check out a book, by changing the due date each day, one day forward, and they'd stamp it in the back of the book usually. So, nice piece of history. And voila! Character has brought back a book to read in her own room. You could do too. The lyrics here. Some notes about the author and illustrator. Okay. Now I'm just going to pause for a moment. Okay. Hello again. So, thank you for listening to those books with me. And I would be more than delighted, anyone who's at the library would be delighted to help you find your favorite book and check one out, to take it home. Join us anytime that we're open, or you can reserve a book online. And if you need help with any of that, just ask us at the circulation desk. We love helping people find books. So our next step for today is to make our own book. And as I mentioned before, this is what our little book will look like. Having pages. This book I made to describe how to make this book. So a book about making a book here. And I use some collage on the cover. I just finding an interesting image from a magazine and then cutting out different styles of letters for the title. So it has a very much collage DIY aesthetic. But there are many, many different things you can do with this book. You can write your own story, words and images. Maybe it's a topic that you're really excited about, like my friend made one about mushrooms of New York. Mushrooms are getting very popular these days because you can grow them yourself. So they put in information about mushrooms and drawings of mushrooms. So how do we make this book? Well, it's quite simple. So you can join along with me if you have a sheet of paper at home. We'll start with one sheet of paper. And the first step is going to be to fold it in half, long edge to long edge, like this. Then unfold it, and we're going to fold it in half again, but short edge to short edge, like this. Be very careful when you're folding to line up the corners and edges as best that you can. Make nice sharp creases with your finger or with a tool. In bookbinding, we use this tool called a bone folder. It's made either out of real bone or plastic. And the way we use it is to make creases nice and sharp. You don't need that particularly. You could use the edge of your scissors or pen or pencil to do the same thing. Now take one of the flaps and fold it to meet our first fold, making a zigzag. Fold that down, press it down, and now flip the whole thing over and do that same thing, folding our flap to the middle fold. And make a crease. Okay, now next step is to open it up all the way and put it back into the first fold in half, short edge to short edge. And what we're going to do is make one little cut that goes from the intersection of those folds, that point right there, outward to meet the folded edge. This is pretty important that it doesn't go from the middle to the flappy edge, but to the folded edge so it folds properly. So just use your scissors to cut that line. And now we open it back up and fold it along the long fold. And our last step is to push these edges to the center to make this X or T, and then wrap the covers around. And it really doesn't matter which you choose as the cover, whichever feels comfiest for your book. And then last, just give it a nice press to line up all the pages. And now we have our book with covers, inside pages, back cover. And if you want to get kind of sneaky, secretive, you can open this book like this, and you have, as we look inside, 4 edges inside to work with too, for a secret message or something. So there is your simple but very neat and interesting little book that you can fill with a story information, yeah, for yourself or for someone else to share it. Thank you so much. And I have lots and lots of book structures that I really like and like to teach. So if you like this, we can do lots more of that in future story times. So with that, I think we'll wrap up for today. I hope to see you at the library. There are not only books, but movies, games, and crafts there. Space to read or hang out, and computers to use as well. So thank you all so much for sharing your time today, and hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.